Okay, looks like we are live. Close this window. Excuse me before I do a quick burp. That's not a real burp. I hate that. That's one of those burps where you feel it, but it doesn't quite want to jump out. So you take a deep breath to try to help force it out, and it still doesn't want to come out. That's a little bit. Please excuse me. So let's get on with the introduction. Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay, coming back at you with another live stream. And as you can see by the pictures, I got my PC back from the Geek Squad. And basically, I'm just downloading everything back into the computer. I had all my games saved on an external hard drive, and the PC recognized the external hard drive as soon as I plugged it in, and all the folders are still there. I just don't, but when I opened up the Oculus and the Steam apps and tried to play those games, it would not recognize that those games were saved. So it was instructing me to download the games again. 1 second, folks. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Had to blow my schnozola. So at the moment, I'm not going to dive much further into that topic. I do want to give those who want to check out this podcast, I do want to give them a few minutes to file in here. Um, but George Simmons, if you happen to be still watching this podcast, um, that is my Oculus gamer tag right there, exactly the way you see it, Lincoln underscore Clay. And yes, I don't know if the Oculus app is case sensitive, but if it is, it's capital L for Lincoln and capital K for Clay. So um, I do want to warn everybody though. I'm starting to gain more friends, slowly but surely. I'm starting to gain more friends on the Oculus app, which is a good thing. Because the Oculus Quest is turning into my everyday driver. Even when my PC, even before my PC took a dump, I was still finding myself using the Quest every single day. And because of that, I want to forewarn everybody that I don't have I don't have a scheduled time. Oh, you have a Quest? Sweet. One thing though, one good thing about the Quest PUG was good. Hospital plus PC. I will say this about the Quest. Well, not the Quest, the Oculus app. When you check your friends list, it will tell you what your friends are on. It will tell you whether your friend is on a Quest or whether they are on a Rift. So in that aspect, that's good. But the part that I wanted to forewarn everybody about is that I don't have a set time whenever I play VR. I just do it. I might be laying in bed relaxing, and then something might flash across my head for a split second, and I'm like, damn, let me jump up and play Dead and Berry for a quick second, or let me jump up and play a couple of quick games of Racket Fury. And just like that, I get in there, I play, and I might play for about 15 minutes, a half an hour, and be done. And I don't, with the Quest, I don't play for long sessions. I play a lot, but I don't play for a long time. So in that aspect, it might be a little bit hard to catch me, unless we set something up. So let me see what else before I get into this subject. Ooh, need that. I am thirsty. Man, I slept my whole Friday away. I cannot believe that. Got home from work. Got out about 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Came home. Since I watch YouTube more than anything, I don't really watch TV anymore. YouTube is my entertainment. So I'm surfing through channels, checking out material. Sick Humor, Gamer Tag, Paradise Decay, some of the usual suspects that I normally watch. Because there was a lot of people live yesterday, so there was a lot of content for me to watch yesterday. And next thing you know, I think it's around 6 o'clock, and that was the end of it. The next time I woke up, it was like midnight, and I think It was 11 o'clock. The roundtable was still live, but they were so far into their podcast that I figured it wasn't even worth joining because I knew they were going to end it soon. And so I stayed up for about another half an hour, went back to sleep, and now here it is. I just got up about an hour ago, checked out, a video from Polish Paul, and then finally decided to get up and start moving around. He said, has anyone tried the Shadow PC along with Virtual Desktop? I have no idea. That Virtual Desktop app ended up being a waste of money for me. Not that it's a bad thing, but when I bought the Virtual Desktop, it seemed like the Virtual Desktop seemed like the gateway to be able to play all your VR games on the Quest. When the Quest came out, people were making streams where they were playing like Fallout 4, and other games, other VR games that was on Steam. I think what the Virtual Desktop app allowed you to do was to play those games streaming them, sort of like a Google Stadia. And then I had heard that you could do it anywhere. So again, I told the story before that my son wanted a PC and he wanted a Rift S, which was a lot of money at the time because I was probably staring at about $1,400, and I bought the Quest as a band-aid to get him through until I could get him a PC. And then I had learned that you could play games on your Quest, from your PC, and then I had learned that you could. It seemed like you could do it from anywhere. So the plan was that using the Virtual Desktop app, what I would do is allow my son to take the Quest home, and whenever he wanted to play games, I would turn my PC on. And even though he's at home, I was under the impression that that app would allow him to play games that's on my PC from his home, using the Quest. But we never got around to doing that because, what's up, chat? For one thing, I think it required my PC. Naturally, it required my PC to be on anytime he wanted to play those games. And I think it required him to be signed into my account, which means I would essentially be locked out and wouldn't be able to play anything. So that never fell through. So the next plan of action was to try to buy him some games on the Quest that I thought would interest him. And that was the biggest reason why I bought Dead and Buried 2. Because I thought it would, my son's in the first person shooter games. But he wasn't interested in Dead and Buried. So then the next step was for me to take a look at this side loading stuff that was going on when that was first introduced on the Quest. And I had spent like a couple of weeks trying to find a way to side load Pavlov into the Quest. I had got it in there and you could see the file in there, but it would never open up and play. And it took me a couple of weeks to learn how to do that. So that was a little bit of a band-aid. My son did take the Quest home and he did play Pavlov a little bit on the Quest, but he still liked it much better on the Rift because it was much detailed, it looked better. And the big thing was on the Rift version or PC version, you can see the bullets being fired at you, whereas on the Quest, you can't see bullets being fired at you. You know, the hit detection was there. You just couldn't see the bullets coming at you. So, short story long, I've never really used the virtual desktop app, paid $15 for it, and never used it. So, in that aspect, it ended up being a waste of money because I never got a chance to use it for the purpose that I bought it. So, I'll be ready to go into this subject in a few minutes about what happened with my PC. Because after what I found out with my PC, not only do I have to change the way that I use the PC, I'll have to I'll have to talk to my son and let him know that there's certain things he shouldn't be doing with his PC. Not that it's a bad thing, but so I do plan on doing a live from Wakanda later on today, because there has been enough VR news that I think we can talk about it. There's several topics. Revelation of a couple of headsets at CES. Let's see here. We also, I think it's a Vacation Simulator. Broke a milestone. They broke over 1 million copies sold. So we could talk about that. The Vive Cosmos. No, not the Vive Cosmos. The Vive Pro. The headset alone. The headset alone. They lowered the price on the headset alone, which to me they need to lower the price on the entire setup. We can talk about that. So there's a good amount of news that happened this past week that we can talk about. So I will do live from Wakanda later on. So for right now, as far as what I have to say, it's mostly about what went down with my PC. But you guys, as always, feel free to jump in or whatever comments, information, what have you, in there, and we can talk about that as we go along. So, no thanks to Best Buy. They did not, keep me updated on my PC. I had to keep checking on it. I had to keep going to their website to see what the status was. So the PC was fixed, was ready for pickup. So I drove out to Best Buy to pick up my PC. It was covered with a little bit of dust. I guess the back stand got damaged during shipment, so they replaced the back stand. And so I needed to know what exactly had to be replaced on the PC so I can, adjust accordingly in how I use the PC. So I thought for certain it was probably going to be the CPU, because I had came to the conclusion that between the VR games that I play and trying to stream them from the same computer, I assumed that was putting a heavy load on the PC, because again, I've seen enough videos where the general consensus is that you need no less than an i7 in order to stream and game from the same PC, whereas my PC has an i5 94 or 9700, which can be overclocked. But on the Alienware control panel, it warns you that if you turn it up and overclock the CPU, that could void the warranty. So I never touched it. So I let it, whatever I was getting by default, that's what I went with. And so I assumed it was the CPU that went out. Part of me was wondering if it was the SSD that might have went out. But it turned out that it was neither of them. When I went to go pick the PC up, I asked him what was wrong, what ended up needing to be replaced. And the guy said he didn't know, but then he opened up the folder and pulled out all the information. And it turned out that the graphics card is what took a dump, an RTX 2070. So when I got home, I went to the Best Buy website to look up the price of an RTX 2070, and the cheapest that I saw one was at $480, but I saw one that was over $600. That is why I buy a warranty. Now, people have come into these, some of my YouTube friends that build their own PCs have told me that if a part takes a dump, it's usually covered by a manufacturer's warranty and they'll replace it. To me, that's a gamble because what if what if the manufacturer decides to pull some bullshit like Microsoft did with the Xbox 360? So to take you back a little bit, so this is going to be a little bit of a story that's going to take a few minutes. Back when the 360 first came out and the Red Rings of Death was happening, Microsoft was not repairing these consoles, nor were they replacing them. There was a huge uproar. Yeah, Shats, that's a lot of cash. So I'm gonna get to why I insist that you buy a warranty when you buy something electronic from Best Buy. But getting back to this 360 thing, the Red Rings of Death happened. Microsoft was not repairing consoles. They were not replacing consoles. It caused a huge uproar within the gaming community, and people were threatening to walk away from Xbox and buy the PlayStation 3 when it comes out in November. Because I know that the 360 released in November. It released November 23rd, 2005, if I remember correctly, because it released like 2 days before Thanksgiving of 2005. So I think the red rings started happening like maybe 3-4 months into the console's life cycle. And then over the next couple of months, I started hearing that people were calling Microsoft and they were saying that there was nothing they can do, or Microsoft was talking about charging people to fix it, all kinds of shit. And once that word spread, it was like outrage throughout the gaming community. Now, the PS3 was originally slated to release also I believe it was slated to release in December of 2005, but because the Xbox 360 jumped out and had a huge head start on them, I believe that's why Sony decided to wait the next year to release the PS3, because it would be no competition. It would be just them out there by themselves. There are those who say the Blu-ray wasn't ready and blah blah blah. I don't buy that shit for 1 minute. Because I had read articles that the PS3 was going to release in 2005. Now, what I can't remember is whether it was supposed to release in 2005, in November of 2005 or December. So it seemed to me like there was a foot race between Microsoft and Sony to get their consoles out first. And I believe that's the biggest reason why we had the Red Rings of Death issue, is because Microsoft was trying to get that console out before Sony was. They were in a foot race. And that was my biggest reason for believing that those consoles, the Xbox, the Xbox Series X, as well as the PS5, I believe that they were going to release in 2019, because I thought it was going to be another foot race between those two companies. So anyway, moving right along, there was outrage throughout the community. People were threatening to buy the PS3 when it came out, and then that made Microsoft, get up off their ass and decide to start fixing these Red Rings of Death. What's happening, geezers? Hope everyone is all good. What's up, Jason? So now, while Microsoft was in the midst of trying to address this Red Rings issue with the Red Rings of Death, they were also dealing with another issue. The optics drive in the 360 was scratching, the disc. It was scratching a ring in there. It scratched a ring in there so deep that the game was unplayable. So people were calling to tell Microsoft that the console was scratching rings into their games. So Microsoft was asking them, did you stand the console up? Yes. Did you stand the console up while it was on? Yes. You're not supposed to do that. Therefore, there's nothing we can do unless you want to send the console in and pay to have it fixed. That's where I'm going with this, is I don't want to take that risk by building my own PC and something like the graphics card goes out, which is going to be $500 to $600 to replace it. I call the manufacturer and they say, well, did you do this? Did you run this update through there? Did you do this? Did you do that? Where they asking me 75 questions, and if one question is answered in the wrong way, then they say, well, there's nothing we can do. Fuck that. That's why I'm okay with buying pre-builts, and when I do, I get a warranty with it. And when it comes to Walmart and shit like that, they offer warranties with the products that they sell. But as Best Buy has the best warranty, because yes, their first course of action will be to try to fix the item. But if they can't fix the device, if it can't be fixed, or it costs more than what the device is worth to fix it, then they'll just refund you your money, and then from there you decide what you want to do. You decide whether you want to buy another computer or whatever the case may be, or just take your money and run. Because of that, that's why when I buy something, like if I buy something from Best Buy that costs over $200, then there's a pretty good chance I'm going to put a warranty on it. And so yes, my computer was gone for about 2 weeks. But what did it cost me? Money? Zero. It cost me zero money for them to replace a part that was, cost $500. The only thing I lost was time. I lost 2 weeks. Big deal. And the Oculus Quest and the PlayStation VR got me through. In the meantime, Gamertag, VR, my guy, what is up? How are you? In your case, I know it's the afternoon over there. How are you doing, good sir? So, with that being said, if I continue to buy pre-built PCs, I'm always going to put a warranty on it, because there was no questions asked. They didn't, Best Buy didn't try to beat around the bush. They didn't try to find a way to avoid honoring the warranty. I told them what was wrong with it. They hooked it up to a monitor to see what I was talking about, and they said, "Okay, we'll get it registered. We'll get it checked in, and we'll send it to our facility in Kentucky, and we'll keep you posted." Boom, that was it. So, Jason, living in Europe, we get 2 years warranty from place of purchase. And then from manufacturers. I'm building my PC with, and my GPU has a 4-year warranty, and my motherboard has a 2 or 3 years from. See, like, I don't know about the British government. I don't know if the British government cracks down on manufacturers and companies trying not to stand behind their product. But I know over here in America, if a company decides to do a fuck job and they won't honor their product and they won't stand behind it, the government won't step in and do anything about it. It usually takes a customer outrage to make them get in line. Like take the Red Rings story that I was telling you guys, how Microsoft was not fixing these consoles. The government should have been on Microsoft's head telling them, you guys better get that shit fixed right now. It took outrage from the community and threats from the community to buy the PS3 to make Microsoft get their act together. So here in America, when companies sell you bullshit, they don't get their act together, and until the customer threatens to go to the competition. And that's why in America we need competition. Because if you have a monopoly and this company produces garbage, who are you going to go to? Because the government ain't going to do nothing to them. I even saw a YouTube video where there was interviews from, I can't remember the guy's name, one of the higher ups in Microsoft that I believe owns the LA Clippers, the basketball team. I guess he was the one that made the decision to go ahead and fix the Red Rings of Death 360s. So I guess they had a meeting at his house in the basement with a few other people from Microsoft. And they brought him up to speed on the Red Ring situation. And he asked them, he said, how much is it going to cost to fix this shit? And they said roughly $2 billion. And he said, do it. This was coming out of his own mouth that I seen this video. But they did it because it would have left a permanent PR stain on Microsoft's record if they didn't fix it. Because let's put it this way: if they don't address the red rings of death situation, then the Xbox One never happens, because people wouldn't have bought it because of Microsoft's they would have had a fucked up reputation for not standing behind their products. So like I said, here in America, American companies, the only thing that will make them get their act together and stand behind their products is when the consumers threaten to buy products from the competition. If McDonald's sells shitty burgers, they won't get their act together until people threaten to go to Burger King. So with that being said, Jason, I don't know if the British government will jump on these companies next if they don't act right. So it shouldn't be like that. In my opinion, if the government, I know the government is one of the most corrupt organizations in America, but if they, regulated shit the way they supposed to, a lot of companies wouldn't be doing fucked up shit to the consumers. So, and that is the biggest reason why I'm a little bit apprehensive about building my own PC, because I'm a little bit worried that if one of these companies, I'm buying all these different parts from all these different companies to build this PC, and then if one part fails and I call that company and it happens to be the one that I roll the dice on, and this company has a bad reputation for not standing behind their product, they're going to put somebody on the phone, they're going to give me a customer service rep who has broken English and it's hard to understand them. And then you're probably going to be on a lengthy phone call with them for about a half an hour, with them sidestepping the issue and telling you that they can't do anything for you, and then you just out of money. I don't want to go through that bullshit. Like I said, with Best Buy, it's cut and dry. Your shit breaks, take it to them. It may take a couple of weeks, but the issue will get resolved. So I swear by I swear by warranties when I buy anything from Best Buy that costs over $200. So, Jason, you said the red rings was a manufacturing error, so realistically they had to do something about. Plus, no one would ever trust Microsoft. But the thing about it was they weren't doing anything about it. In the beginning, Microsoft was not doing anything about it. I had seen, when I first heard about the red rings, and then I started, because how I learned about the red rings was through word of mouth, because I wasn't watching YouTube like that at the time. So through my friends, whenever I would play like Rainbow Six or Call of Duty or whatever, people in the lobbies were talking about the red rings of death, and it was starting to spread across Xbox Live in that aspect. So I finally decided to jump on YouTube, because YouTube was an informational tool to me at the time and not entertainment. So I decided to do some research on the red rings of death, and I was seeing all kinds of videos about how their Xbox caught their red rings of death and Microsoft would not fix them. So yes, the Xbox did have a 1 year's manufacturer warranty, but Microsoft was trying their damnedest to avoid fixing these things. And it took outrage from the community. From my point of view, it took outrage from the community and threats of people going over to the PlayStation 3 in order for Microsoft to get up off their ass and fix it. It shouldn't have came down to that. Even with the Xbox One X, they were bricking when these things first came out, and Microsoft was once again, they were sidestepping the issue. They were saying, you shouldn't, you can't plug it into a power strip. It's got to be plugged up, individually into a socket and all kinds of shit. They didn't know what was wrong with that shit, so they were doing everything they could to either say, try this, try that, or it's your fault. It once again, and then I don't know how they ended up resolving that issue, but it's the point that Microsoft did not say, hey, send your shit to us and we'll fix it. It eventually happened, but it took outrage from the community. And I was seeing videos from people that bought the Scorpio edition, and they sent their consoles back to Microsoft to be repaired, and Microsoft did not send them back the console that they originally bought. They bought a Scorpio edition Xbox One X, but they were getting sent back a standard Xbox One X and not the Scorpio edition that they originally paid for. So that's the bullshit that I didn't want to have to deal with by building a PC and having to call that particular manufacturer. In the case of Best Buy, you know, that Alienware PC was probably built from parts from you know, various subsidiary companies, and it doesn't matter who built it. It doesn't matter what company supplied parts. You know, with that warranty, that's it. So, Shess, you said Best Buy is great with warranty. Basically, I could stomp on my PSVR, just go get a new one. Yeah, I mean, one time, I gave my brother a brand new Xbox 360 for Christmas. Guess what happened? The shit caught the red rings of death. Like only 2 months after I gave it to him. So he told me that he was getting some red lights flashing because he wasn't familiar with the red rings of death terms. But he called me and said that it's not working. He's getting red lights flashing on the, you know, on the power light. And I already told him. I said, you got the red rings of death. And I said, I'll be over there to pick it up. So I went and got his Xbox 360 because since I bought it for him for Christmas, it was in my name. And I was still aware that the red rings of death was still going on at the time I gave him that 360. So I made it a point to keep the receipt. I went and picked up his 360, took it back to Best Buy. I said, I bought this thing for my brother for Christmas 2 months ago, and it's got the red rings of death. They said, okay, go in the back and grab another one unless you want your money back. And I said, I'll just get another one. So, Best Buy, boom, done. Oh, I'm sorry, Mick. Yeah, that it turned out that the graphics card in my PC took a dump, and so all this, you know, jibber jabber that I'm talking right now is me explaining why I buy a warranty from Best Buy whenever I buy something from them. Now, true enough that if I didn't buy the warranty from Best Buy, the PC still should have had a year manufacturer's warranty on it. But I don't want to roll that dice that the manufacturer is going to be evasive and try to find a way not to replace it. You know, or they say send the PC in, and then they grab a refurbished PC out of the janitor's closet, and they mail me back a PC that's been all scuffed up and banged up and dropped on the ground and that kind of shit. I don't want to deal with that. You know, the same situation that I explained with Microsoft replacing those Xbox Scorpios with regular Xbox One X's. With that warranty from Best Buy, they're going to fix my account, they're going to fix my PC, or they're going to refund me my money. It's not going to be any bullshit, and that's what I love about their warranties. Jamal Adams, what is good? So, did they put the same card back in or better? I haven't looked up the... You know, I haven't looked up the system information to find out exactly what they put in there. I will. But I will say this. I loaded up Star Trek Bridge Crew, and my God, that starship looked razor sharp. And I was like, damn, I can't say that I remember the ship looking that sharp the last time I looked at it on my PC. But my God, that ship was razor sharp. I mean, it's crazy to say it like that, but that ship was so razor sharp, it damn near looked like it was in 4K. And maybe that's me too. Maybe I was too used to looking at it on the Oculus Quest, but my God, when you're orbiting around the Enterprise, it was so sharp and so detailed. So, with that being said, I doubt that they gave me a better graphics card. But if they at least put what was in there, then I'll be fine. But if I go into the system information and find out they put a 2060 or some shit like that in there, it's going right back. And I'm telling them, put the right shit in there. But but when I checked up on when I was, trying to get updates from the Best Buy website on my PC, one particular update, it said good news, a part needs to be repaired, needs to be replaced on your PC, and we have it in stock. And it says stay tuned to when you can expect to receive your PC back. So I was checking all that information out. It said Chats, also if your PC is almost 2 years old, they will replace it with equal value, usually getting yourself a better PC in the end if it's discontinued. And at the end of the day, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that the PC could not be repaired, so I could upgrade to an Alienware PC, an Aurora R9 that has the same specs as my PC, except that it has an i7 in there. So, yeah, Mick, my PC came stock with a RTX 2070 in there, and I don't feel the need to have to rush out and go get a 2080 or that kind of shit, because shit, that 2070, it looks pretty damn good. The only immediate concern that I have for my PC is wanting to upgrade the CPU. I want to put an i7 or i9 in there. It's pretty pricey, and I don't want to risk voiding the warranty by tampering with it. So, Jason, he said, "Oh, you're talking to Shats, but I'll still read that comment anyway." Is that with a separate Best Buy warranty, and once you pay more, or is that standard warranty? I thought in America you guys only get 1 year. See, that's what. See, here's the thing. What's going to happen if you buy something from Best Buy without a Best Buy warranty? I think you got 15 days to return it and get a full refund. Anything after that, like you buy something from Best Buy and then it takes a crap 2 months later, the warranty now goes to the manufacturer and not Best Buy, because I've had that happen to me before, where I've called them and said something took a dump on me, and they said you're going to have to send it to the manufacturer. So with Best Buy, yes, that the warranty that I paid for was like an extra $230 for 2 years, but I felt like it was worth it because the warranty already paid for itself, because they replaced a $500 part. Now, under the manufacturer's warranty, yes, they should have replaced it, no question. But that takes me back to that situation where I was talking about how manufacturers here in America usually try to bullshit you and try to sidestep situations and try to avoid honoring their warranties. It's not until the problem gets so widespread that the community threatens to go to the competitor. So, like using the McDonald's, need to go, guys. Link can catch you tomorrow on the VR link. Hey, thanks for popping in, Mick. I appreciate it. Shats, you said, yeah, you have to ask them. I got screwed on the cell phone warranty with them once. See, but if you would have had a Best Buy warranty on that phone, they can't bullshit you. You take it in, tell them the shit is fucking up, and that's the end of it. And they replace it. So, I don't think Best Buy sells the best products. I just think they have the best warranty. So for instance, like, you have those so-called wholesale outlets like Sam's Club and Costco and shit like that. Now, if you go to one of those places, their prices are not cheaper. You just get a better quality. Like, for instance, like this Alienware, when I first bought it, it retailed for $2,000. Long story short, I ended up getting it for $1,600. Now, if I would have bought this same computer, like, let's put it this way: if I would have went to Costco, the same $2,000 that I spent on this PC would have got me a better Alienware PC. It probably would have got me an Alienware PC with a better processor in it. So Costco and Sam's Club and shit like that, their prices aren't cheaper. It's the same as Best Buy. It's just that you're getting a better product. Case in point, one time I bought a TV from Costco. It was a 55-inch JVC. I spent a little like $630 for it. Now, that same $630, when I went to Best Buy, it would have got me like a bullshit ass RCA TV, you know, or some Insignia bullshit, with lower specs. You know, it would have, 1080p TVs were common back then, but this TV had a 120 hertz refresh rate, whereas the other TVs were having like a 30 hertz refresh rate. So the TVs were costing the same between Best Buy and Costco. It's just that Costco was giving you a better product for your money, with higher specs and that kind of shit. So, but what happens if I buy a PC from Costco and it takes a dump? And I call them and say it takes a dump. If it has a warranty, they're going to tell me to call a manufacturer and it's out of our hands from there. I don't want to deal with that bullshit. I don't want to call the manufacturer and they say you are number 41 in the queue. Your call will be answered in 1 hour and 17 minutes. Shit like that. You're going to hang up the phone and be pissed. You ain't going to want to deal with all that bullshit. Again, I took my shit to Best Buy. Boom, put it on the counter. This is what it's doing. They checked it out. Okay, we'll get it checked in and we'll get on it. And now it's back. Didn't cost me a cent. So when it comes to retailers and customers, we are not friends. Me and Best Buy are not friends. Me and Walmart are not friends. I still believe that their purpose is to try to get my money, is to try to separate me from my money. But their warranty, even though it's a little bit pricey, it is consumer friendly. So let me backtrack a few comments. I wasn't paying attention to them because I didn't want to lose my place in the little story that I was telling. Let me see. Chats. Let me see. Yeah, that's me in the Discord. Yeah, I made funny user, very original name. Yeah, the abbreviation. Okay, you guys are talking about. Sounds like you guys are talking about usernames, but So now what's going on with the PC is that because the Oculus app as well as the Steam app that did not recognize that I had those games already stored on the external hard drive, it wouldn't access those games. So every time, like for instance, when I would highlight Asgard's Wrath, instead of seeing the play symbol, it was saying install. So I didn't know how to basically get the Oculus app to connect with my external hard drive. So I had to do the process all over again. I had to add a drive, and now I'm going through the process of downloading those games again and directing them to the external drive. You said, does that model graphics card you got have a good reputation, Lincoln? I really don't know, but I'm glad you asked that question because that brings me to the point of what I feel I need to do moving forward to make sure this computer doesn't take a crap in the near future. When I learned that it was the graphics card that took a dump, one of my good friends, Sick Humor, had a podcast yesterday, and they got on the subject of ray tracing, which the RTX 2070 does have ray tracing. He was saying that, when you turn the ray tracing on, your PC takes a hard hit in performance. Like I guess you'll have some serious frame drops. And the only way you can have a good frame rate using ray tracing is to have to turn that resolution down. Like you might have to drop from 4K to 1080p in order to use the ray tracing and still have decent performance from the PC. So that led me to think that in addition to the ray tracing, my HDR was constantly turned on, even though I wasn't playing games that supported HDR. That was constantly turned on. So that probably put an extra load on my PC. In addition to, in addition to me streaming and gaming from the same PC. So, Jason, you said here in Spain we have a place called Media Market, who are in a very few European countries. I paid, I think, 120 euros for the Extra 3. Shit! I mean, I don't know much about euros, but if euros are the equivalent of dollars, $120 for a 3-year warranty is excellent. Now, here's a problem with Walmart. You can buy a warranty from Walmart, but if your shit breaks down, you can't bring it back to Walmart. They tell you to call a 1-800 number and then go through all this bullshit to get it taken care of. No, I'm not dealing with that either. Take my shit straight to Best Buy, boom, drop it on the counter, and that's that. So that 120 euros for 3 years sounds like an excellent deal. But is that what you would have to go through if your computer takes a crap? You know, can you bring it back to them and they take care of it, or they direct you to a 1-800 number? So yeah, I think it might have been a multitude of things that killed my computer. Maybe the ray tracing, which I don't, if the ray tracing had anything to do with it. I don't know exactly where in the settings you would go to turn it off. I don't know if it can be turned on or off. If it can, then I need to take a look at that. The HDR, I'm not going to use the HDR anymore. There's no point in it because none of the VR games that I play support HDR. And that's mostly what my computer is used for. And even though VR games do not have good graphics, have better graphics than today's current flat screen games, it still taxes your computer more than a flat screen games. Computers have to work harder running VR games than they do flat screen games. So I figure all that stuff came into play, and moving forward, I'm going to use the NDI. Congrats on the working PC. That wasn't going to be an issue, Christopher Hart, because Best Buy has a great warranty. When your shit breaks down, bring it back to them, fix, boom. That's the end of it. That's the unfortunate part, is that my computer could be fixed. I was hoping that it couldn't be fixed so I could upgrade to another computer. So yeah. So moving forward. So here's my plan moving forward in terms of streaming for you guys. Streaming on the PlayStation VR, everything's going to stay the same because it's within the console. Nothing changes there. Streaming from the Oculus Quest, as of right now, the only way I can stream from the Oculus Quest where I don't have to buy any hardware is to stream directly to Facebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Lincoln Clay page. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm streaming on I'm streaming under my real name on Facebook, which I'm not going to do that anymore because it was just me testing something. So I don't want to deal with trolls and that kind of shit. So I will create a Lincoln Clay page on Facebook, and once that's done, I'll send out links or direct you guys to where you can go to watch my Oculus Quest streams through Facebook. And then as far as the PC goes, the cheapest solution where it doesn't cost me anything is to use the NDI plugin on OBS, which will connect the two computers. And basically what will happen is my gaming PC, it will go directly into OBS, and then the streaming computer will output it. Now there'll be some, I guess there'll be a compromise in terms of the quality the colors and all that kind of shit, and I guess there's a little bit of latency too. But for the most part, I'll have to be selective about when I stream from the PC. Even though the NDI plugin is a cost free solution, um, I guess I want to use it more for information purposes. If I should happen to get a developer key and then I want to do an first impression stream, then yeah, I'll do it like that, and then I'll just warn you guys, hey, don't let what you see um, give you the final impression of the game, because chances are it's going to look a lot better than what you seeing. So oh, cold yogurt, you at work? All right, cool. And Christopher Hart, you said, I saw what you said. You said, yeah, Best Buy fixes everything. Yeah, and as long as you have Geek Squad, yeah, it's like I was saying before you came in here, Christopher Hart. Anything that I buy from Best Buy that costs over $200, I put a warranty on it. If I buy something that costs $100 from Best Buy, the only way, Big Cloud, what is up, my guy? How are you doing? Now, if I buy something from Best Buy that costs $100, the only way I'll put a warranty on it is if the warranty is like $5. If I buy something from Best Buy and a warranty is like $68, then nah, I'm not gonna do it. Chances are the product is going to be, if it's not a PC, chances are the product is going to be well built. But with a PC, there's so many things that can go wrong. I mean, I even wondered, and that's another thing that I didn't mention. Once I learned that it was the graphics card that went out on my PC that had to be replaced, I'm beginning to wonder if I got a bad update from the GeForce experience, because, if you go to the GeForce site, you can get periodic updates, for optimizations of, they'll keep you posted on what games have been, recently optimized. And then the thing about it is that every time there was an update, every time I needed to apply an update, if I didn't go to the GeForce experience to apply that update, my computer started running like shit. The screen would black out. I would get lines running across the screen. So I would have to go to the GeForce experience to get the driver updates, and then I would have to turn around and go to the Alienware control panel to update that as well for them to work together. Hold on a second, Big Cloud. I'm gonna, I just got through explaining about why I would prefer to buy pre-builds versus building one. I'll explain that again in a second. Hold on. Okay, Big Cloud, you were saying that I might as well build a PC. I think, after checking prices, building a PC is not that much cheaper than buying one, from what I'm seeing. It's only a few dollars difference. Um, if you build a PC and you buy a PC that have the exact same specs, the difference is only a few dollars. Now, the reason why at this moment why I don't want to build a PC is I don't want to run the risk of a part going out on my PC and the manufacturer of that part has a bad reputation for not honoring warranties, and then I call them up and they try to find a way not to replace the part. And they try to find a way to blame me for it, the way Microsoft was doing with the Xbox 360s. Did you do this? Did you plug it into that? Nope, there's nothing we can do about it. The warranty's void, because how Microsoft was trying to avoid fixing those red rings of death for a while. I don't want to run across a situation like that if I build my own PC and the graphics card were to go out and then the manufacturer says there's nothing we can do. Now I'm out $600, for that graphics card. You said true, but there is less of a chance of being built half-assed. Okay, now here's another thing to consider, Big Cloud. Okay, so I built a PC. Let's say about a year and a half later, the graphics card goes out on that PC. I'm definitely out of the pocket because it's past the 1-year manufacturer's warranty. Whereas this pre-built that I bought, I put a 2-year warranty on it. And if anything goes wrong with it, then, with Best Buy, no questions asked. They take care of it. The only thing I lose is the time. Me having to get my PC fixed this go round, the only thing I lost was 2 weeks out of my life waiting for the PC to come back. It didn't cost me any money. So, but, there's some other things to consider now that I know that the graphics card is going out. It was a graphics card that needed to be replaced. I'm trying to backtrack my patterns and see if it was anything that I did that caused the PC to take a dump, and try to approach things differently this go round. Like, so for instance, I'm going to try I'm not going to stream and game from the same PC. Because I said that before earlier that from all the videos that I watched from people who were talking of, showing you how to connect two PCs so you can stream on one and game on the other. The general consensus is that if you're going to stream and game from the same PC, your computer has to have no less than an i7 in it. My PC had an i5 in it. It's got an i5, I believe, 9400, 9700, which can be overclocked, but you get a warning from Alienware that if you turn the shit up, it's going to void the warranty. So because of that, moving forward, I plan to use the NDI plugin. Too much of a hassle at this point with pre-builds. I get where you're coming from, but the only hassle that I'm dealing with is the time that I lose having to send it out. I don't want to jump on the phone with a manufacturer and, like I said earlier, you are number 117 in the queue. Wait time for this call will be 8 hours and 4 minutes. That kind of shit. And then you get on the phone with a representative who barely speaks English, and then the whole process just makes you want to hang up the phone. I wouldn't have to go through any of that bullshit. TrueLink is guaranteed a working PC for the whole warranty. You probably can just get a refund if they can't fix it. Yeah, I was saying that, Shats, is that, Best Buy said it. They told me, they said they treat it like a car. Their first option is to try to repair it. If it cannot be repaired, or the cost of the repair costs more than the item itself, then they'll just total it out. No, I bought it from Best Buy. The first two PCs that I bought were CyberPower PCs, Big Cloud. They were that right there was clearly, some junk. Because those two PCs, the exact same thing went wrong with both of those PCs in the exact same time frame. So to be more specific, the first CyberPower PC that I bought ran great. It took a dump after 2 weeks. Long story short, I took it to Best Buy. They opened up the BIOS and they did not see the SSD. So their thought was that the SSD went out. It turned out that's exactly what it was, because they sent it to their facility in Kentucky. The word got back to me that the SSD went out, and they just refunded my money. So my thinking was that was just an individual situation, that was like kind of a fluke situation. Like, I just got a bad, PC. So I got the exact same CyberPower PC, and the exact same thing happened again. The SSD went out 2 weeks after I got that PC, and then that's when I came to the conclusion that CyberPower PCs are probably junk, or at least they're using junk SSDs. So that's when I got the Alienware, and this Alienware, I believe, lasted, maybe about 6 months before it finally took that dump. So, but in any case, I bought all those PCs from Best Buy, and every single time it was replaced with no hassle. So the only thing you deal with a Best Buy warranty is that in the case of these PCs, they had to send it to their facility in Kentucky for whatever reason, and then they make a determination from there. So Now, in the case of the second cyber power PC that went out on me, I bought it to Best Buy, and I told them, I said, this PC died in the same manner as the first one. So I'm convinced that there's a manufacturer's defect on this one. And they said okay, and they gave me my money back. And from there I went and bought the Alienware PC, because at that point I was done with CyberPower. I bought my son an iBuyPower PC. I don't know, a couple of months ago. So far so good, but my son's also not streaming from YouTube. It's his PC, as far as I'm concerned, is a starter computer. It has a i5 8700, I believe, with a GTX 1660, 8 gigs of RAM, which I expanded that, and I put 16 gigs of RAM in his PC. And Code Yogurt, you said, I have the Valve Index. Oh, you lucky dog, you lucky dog, you. But in a sense, you know what? I can't act like I'm jealous of you, because I'm not. Because I don't want to drop the $1,000 for that Valve Index. I want one, but I don't want to drop $1,000 for it. Because that hurts. It hurts my soul. But I've said this before. I'm hoping to move into a bigger apartment in about a year, because this is a very small 1-bedroom apartment. Around this time, I expect to have everything paid off. All my credit cards, the car that I bought earlier this year, all of it, I expect to have everything paid off. And I'm making a little bit more money now than I was a couple of years ago. So I'm looking to move into a 2-bedroom apartment, or a duplex. And when that happens, the second room is going to be dedicated to VR. It's going to be a VR room. All my headsets are going to be in there. The PC is going to be in there. I'm going to have a green screen in there so I can make mixed reality videos. So when that happens, then I'll take a look at buying some more headsets. But for right now, my Oculus Quest, my Oculus Rift S, and my PlayStation VR, that's all I need. And those are all affordable VR solutions. The Quest is $400. We know that. It's a standalone headset. You can take it with you anywhere. Cold Yogurt, you said the budget is tight. In my case, it's more or less me being cheap rather than my budget. Because my thought is like a Valve Index for $1,000 when I can buy a Rift S. The Valve Index has a resolution of 1600. Yes, it has a wider field of view, and it has a much higher refresh rate. But the resolution, 1600 versus 1440 of the Rift S. The Rift S is crystal clear. And now that they took care of that tracking situation from when the Rift S first launched, the Rift S is an excellent buy. The Rift S is the best bang for your buck as far as I'm concerned. There's no other headsets within the price range of an Oculus Rift S that doesn't have its drawbacks. The HTC Vive is still selling for $500. As far as I'm concerned, that's last gen VR. The HTC Vive has a resolution of 1200, and then you're still dealing with blur around the outside of it. Why would you get that, and then you got to deal with all that bullshit of setting up those lighthouse bases, when you can get the Rift S, when you don't need any external sensors, and you're getting a crystal clear resolution, you're getting a crystal clear picture, and it's $100 cheaper, and it doesn't require as much space, and the inside-out tracking. Even though Anthony of VR365 said it best, VR outside tracking is a tough nut to crack, but Oculus has figured it out. So I still think the Rift S is the best buy for the money. let me see. Shaz, you said I'd have a hard time telling the difference between 1440 and 1600. Exactly. So if you are getting the Rift, the Valve Index for resolution purposes only, that's a $600 jump. The Rift S is $400, and the Valve Index is $1,000. That's a huge jump. C Slim, my PC has an i5 in it. It's an i5 94 or 9700. It can be overclocked, but that would kill the warranty because Alienware flashes you a warning that if you turn it up and that processor goes out, it voids the warranty. I might have to get up and go get some more in a second. But yeah, again, the Rift S is the best bang for the buck. So, but again, I got way off track. But yes, when I move into a bigger place, then I will explore buying some more headsets. Shats, you said, how do Valve controllers compare to Rift? I'm not the person to ask that because I've never even sampled the Valve Index controllers. Another thing to consider with the Valve Index is, are those controllers still breaking? Those controllers were breaking when the headset first launched, and Valve was dragging their ass to fix that problem. So C Slim, if you're talking to me, what kind of GPU am I running? It has a RTX 2070, and that's what took a dump. That's what took a crap in my PC was the GPU. And again, if I would have had a situation where I would have called the manufacturer and they would have been like, if they would have been sidestepping the issue and dragging their ass about replacing it, I would have been out $600. But with the Best Buy warranty, no questions. I just dropped it off at Best Buy and that was the end of it. So I personally, I like the touch controllers, but I like the touch controllers on the CV1 better. These touch controllers this out on the Rift S and the Quest, yeah, they took some getting used to. But they're good. They're cool. I like them. But if I had my choice, I would take the I would take the touch controllers from the Oculus Rift CV1. So when I bought my Rift S, if I would have been able to sync those touch controllers from the CV1 to the Rift S, that's what I would have done. But we know for a fact that the Rift S controllers would never work with the CV1. Because the CV1 doesn't have any cameras to be able to see the controllers. Then you'd have to rely on those external sensors. So, and I'm feeling like I need my morning exercise. So I don't know. I've been kind of on the for whatever reason. Jason, you said how much was your PC and how much was the added warranty? Now there was a couple of situations with that PC when I bought it. The PC originally retailed for $2,000. When I bought it, it was on sale for $1,800 because when I bought it, I had just been refunded the money from the CyberPower PC that took a dump because same deal. I paid $1,400 for the CyberPower PC and an extra couple $100 for the warranty. So when they refunded my money from the CyberPower PC, they gave me back the $1,400 that I paid for it, and they gave me a prorated refund on the warranty. So let's say I spent $200 on the warranty, they gave me back like $170 on the warranty because I was only a couple of weeks into the life cycle of that warranty. So they prorated the warranty. So getting back to this Alienware, it normally retail for $2,000. I got it on sale for $1,800. And then about a week after I bought it for $1,800, it went on sale again for $1,600. So I went to Best Buy and told them this PC's on sale for $1,600. I paid $1,800 for it. It was like, all right, and they gave me the $200 back. So the end cost of the PC ended up being $1,600, and then I paid like $220 or something like that for the warranty. So based on what the PC originally retailed for and what I ended up paying for the PC, it was like I got the warranty for free. So hey, you can't argue with that. And Cold Yogurt, you said I got Boneworks downloaded. I can't wait to try it out. I have been playing Boneworks, and I did try to stream Boneworks from my PC, but it just could not handle it. It just wasn't working. So, but I will say this about Boneworks so far. The game hasn't done anything to wow me, but the physics, it's like you walk into a room and nothing in there is like really a decoration. I've talked about in the past where VR games, you might walk into a room, you see a table, there's a cup, a plate, a bowl on a table, but you can't interact with those things. You can't pick them up. If you walk into a room on Boneworks, if there's a cup, a plate, a bowl, a fork, anything that's on the table, you can pick it up, and you can throw it, whatever. And that's what kept me curious about Boneworks so far, is just how interactive is this game. Now there were times where I picked up things and it looked authentic, where it looked like I was actually holding it, but there was also times in Boneworks where I went to go pick up something and it didn't look like I was actually holding it. It looked like it was glued to my hand. But it is a very active, interactive game, and a lot of people feel like the physics of Boneworks is what's taking us into the next generation of VR. So Half-Life Alyx are going to bridge those. They're going to bridge those two categories. Half-Life Alyx looks like it's going to give us the physics of Boneworks, but give us the graphics of Alone Echo. So Half-Life Alyx looks to be could be a defining moment for VR. So I absolutely can't wait, and it's hard to we are depending on if they keep with that schedule, we're looking at about 2.5 months for Half-Life Alyx, and then as far as Iron Man VR, we're about 1.5 months away. So like, man, it's like shit is right around the corner. But I got a ton of games to keep me going until then. So, and Jason, you said, wow, they gave you back $200. That's really good. But a lot of retailers will do that for you because they have to be able to compete. So if I go to Walmart and buy something that costs $1,400 and then it goes on sale a week later for $200 off, they'll give me that refund. Because for starters, it would be within they kind of have to do it, because I think here in America, if you buy something, depending on their return policy, you've got, I think, anywhere from 15 to 30 days to return something to get a full refund. Now, let's say I go to Walmart and I buy something for $1,500. It goes on sale a week later for $1,300, and I tell them, please refund me the difference. And they say no. Here's what I'll end up doing. I'll be like, okay, I tell you what, I don't want this product anymore. I want my money back. And then I return the product. They give me back the $1,500, and then I turn around and rebuy it for $1,300. It would be stupid for them not to return the difference, And plus, in Walmart, depending on as far as electronics goes, they're still in competition with Best Buy and Target and and other retailers. So to me, that's expected. It's just like, but Best Buy don't really give you any shit. Not only will Best Buy refund you the difference if something goes on sale, Best Buy will match the competitor. If I buy something for $1,500 from Best Buy, and then I see that same product at another retailer for $1,200, from Target or Walmart, and I bring in the ad and show them the ad and like, look, this exact same item is on sale at another retailer for $1,200. Best Buy will give me the difference. They'll refund the difference in order to match that competitor's ad. So in terms of policies, in terms of return policies, refund policies, honoring warranties and shit like that, Best Buy is one of the best out there. So, and I'm not talking about, and I'm not saying this shit from a, like a fanboy. I'm not saying that shit like a fanboy. It's just the facts, Best Buy honors their warranties and they match competitors' prices. Shats, you said Sniper Elite is my number one upcoming game. It's a game I'm looking forward to. It wasn't exactly on my radar. I would hope that they would add a multiplayer to the game at some point. That's the only reason why that game hasn't really turned up on my radars in terms of games. In terms of games that I'm looking forward to for 2020. I mean, a game like Iron Man VR, I don't expect any kind of multiplayer out of that. I'm just a hardcore Marvel Comics guy, so to be able to play one of my favorite Marvel characters in VR, it's sort of a dream. It's sort of a dream come true. The Marvel, I think it's the Marvel Alliance or Marvel Powers United game over on the Oculus. That game is $40. I want the game, even though I had, read, even though I read the reviews on the game where they said the game is repetitive and that kind of shit. I'm still interested in the game because I want to be Thor. I want to throw that hammer. I want to crack something with that hammer and that hammer come back to me. So I keep waiting for the game to go on sale, but Oculus is not having that shit. They never put that game on sale. But yeah, to be able to play Iron Man in VR, and then and I understand it's going to be a learning curve, learning how to fly. It's not going to be a situation where you just press a button and start flying. You're going to have to learn to maneuver and manipulate the thrusters. So I'm definitely looking forward to Iron Man, even though I know it's not multiplayer. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to Half-Life Alyx. And I think it's going to be co-op, but even if it wasn't, it would still be on my radar because it just looks like it's going to be next level VR in terms of bridging the gap between physics and graphics. Another game that's on my radar is Lone Echo 2. That's on my radar. So another game that's on my radar is Medal of Honor VR, which I thought was going to be coming in the first quarter of 2020, but I guess I got to backtrack that because I don't know when it's coming out. All I know is that it's supposed to be coming out this year. And I hope that does have a multiplayer because that would be all the more reason for me to pick it up if it has multiplayer. Shats, you say Iron Man. Also, of course, I've been wanting a new good aim controller game. And which if they can come through with it, you will be getting it when Zero Caliber comes out. This game should have been on the PlayStation VR a long time ago. Now, if the videos that I had been seeing is correct, I think Zero Caliber was originally supposed to be called Special Forces VR. And it looked like something right out of Rainbow Six, where there was a scene where you were trying to go up inside a plane where they had hostages, and then I think I had seen a couple of videos where they were talking about the project had been scrapped and reintroduced as Zero Caliber, and came back as a totally different game. Excuse me. Now, as far as games that take advantage of the aim controller with multiplayer, you have Firewall right now, and you have Honor and Duty, and Farpoint is 1 versus 1, but at least it is player versus player. But they've been talking about Zero Caliber coming to the PlayStation VR for like well over a year, and the shit already been out on VR for over that long. Um, but now I haven't read any articles to confirm that, but according to Polish Paul, when it reaches PlayStation VR, which probably is going to be like in the second quarter of 2020, so somewhere between April and like June or something like that, when it does come to the PlayStation VR, the multiplayer is supposed to be ready to go on that. So that part I can't confirm. The only part that I can confirm is I have the game on PC, and you get developer updates. You get notes from the developers, and they have said that multiplayer is coming. So, and I think when it does come to the PlayStation VR, I do think it's going to be crossplay. So that is going to be another multiplayer game that I believe that you might be able to get that might take advantage of the aim controller. That's another thing that I haven't confirmed yet, whether Zero Caliber is going to support the aim controller or not. But you will get another first-person shooter. So, Ice Queen Gaming, hey. Said you are something now and off my antidepressant tablets. That is good news. I think there is a lot of happiness in video games, and it is an escape from reality. I'm still human. That I have my things still bother me. I still have my concerns, but virtual reality VR. I escape from all that. I forget about all that shit. Cold Yogurt, you say, what's the Epic Store all about? I don't really mess with it. The Epic Store is off to a bad reputation. And I don't want to add another launcher on my PC. Because in my opinion, it's already bad enough that everything I play on my PC, the Oculus app, has to be open because that's your on-off switch for the Rift. If the app isn't open, the headset wouldn't work. So even if you're playing a game on Steam, if you're playing a VR game on Steam, you don't necessarily need Steam VR to play the game. It depends on the game. Some games you do. You do need Steam VR as well as the Oculus app in order to play it. So to me, that's too many like launchers to play one game. So because of that, I don't want to deal with the Epic Store. I don't want to have to add another launcher. Spartan God, what is good, my guy? How are you? For the most part, Ice Queen Gaming, I would have to agree with Cold Yogurt, as I just said. He's saying get a VR headset. It helps people with depression because it takes you into another reality. When you play, you don't see your home environment. And I've said it, video games in the gym was already my escape, before virtual reality even came into my life. When I came home from a hard day's work and something was bothering me, stressed out or whatever, I would play video games or I'd head straight to the gym, and now the relief that I would get from video games in the gym was two different type of stress relievers. In the case of the gym, in the case of the playing video games, if I'm worried about a bill this coming up, or I'm worried about a car repair or whatever the case may be, video games has made me forget about all that shit. The relief that the gym gave me is when I wanted to kill somebody. Whenever somebody made me mad enough that I wanted to kill them, that was the relief that the gym gave me. Because I go to the gym and I grab that dumbbell and I'd imagine it's that dude's neck that pissed me off and try to squeeze the shit out of it. Not only that, I was stronger when I was mad. I go to the gym and I have a day where, I'm benching 250 pounds, but because some dude pissed me off at work and I want to kill him, on this day I'm coming into the gym and I'm benching 275. So that was the stress relief that the gym gave me. So Ice Queen, you said thanks, Yogurt. I will think about it at some point. I lost my husband in 2018. Um, Ice Queen Gaming, to be forewarned, you could buy a VR headset and it may not immediately resonate with you. It could be an acquired taste. It could be a situation where you got to give it some time to set in well, because, I thought when I first time I tried VR at Best Buy when they were demonstrating the PlayStation VR, I thought it was amazing, but it had not struck me like lightning. It didn't make me feel like, okay, I'm going to choose this over flat screen gaming. Flat screen gaming was still my first choice. And not only that, we were in the midst of Sony delivering so many amazing games that, like I had tunnel vision. If it wasn't a Sony exclusive, I wasn't interested in it, because that's just how well they were pumping out these exclusives. The God of Wars, the Uncharted, the Detroit Become Human, like all those games, like I didn't want to see nothing else. And I had to finally open up my mind and give VR a chance before it started to sink in with me, because again, because of all the amazing exclusives that we were getting from Sony, that I was zeroed in on Sony and their exclusives. But it actually took VR to make me break away from Sony's chains. And just like, so now when it comes to VR, I love everything. I'm not just loyal to PlayStation VR. I love it all. I love the Quest, I love the Rift S, I love PlayStation VR. I love them all. So you said Cold Yogurt, you said, yeah, it took me half a year, but it was amazing in the beginning. Make no mistake about it. The first time I tried VR, I said, this is amazing. But it was not enough to make me choose. It wasn't enough to make me choose like Uncharted, the Uncharted 4. Back when that was out, if I had to choose between Uncharted 4 and VR, it was Uncharted 4. The game was fun from front to back. It amazing graphics, an amazing story, and it had multiplayer as well. The Last of Us Remastered. Even though I don't play that game anymore, to this very day, The Last of Us Remastered still has one of the best multiplayers that I've ever played. Even though it was a last-gen game. The multiplayer on The Last of Us is still amazing. Once in a great while, I might, dive back in. But back then, no. Sony had me by the balls. It's with their exclusives. No way around it. I hate to put it so graphically and so bluntly, but Sony had me. And then you also factor in all those flash sales. A game that was $60, 3 months ago, you see it at the Sony flash sale for $20. Shit. In games that was $30 5 months ago, you see it for $5 at the flash sale. I mean, I got so many damn games. That's why my backlog is so big right now with the flat screen games. Games that I know I'm never gonna play. That backlog got so huge from the flash sale. Sony got me. They got me. Sony used a Jedi mind trick and took my money. With all those exclusives and those flash sales, they had me hypnotized. But but now I'm but hey, Sony could have, Sony was still taking my money on the VR front too. So, but I don't know. I love VR, and I think I'm gonna play VR till the day that I can't play it anymore. So I'm enjoying every minute of it, and I'm glad that I had a chance to experience VR before I leave this earth. And you guys, if you guys saw my stream on I think it was Christmas or the day after, it was a very emotional stream when I was talked about how I was able to take the Oculus Quest over to my parents' house and show my father Star Trek VR. That was a very, very emotional moment. That was a moment that I'll never forget. Okay, C Slim, about to check my Twitter right now, so give me a second. You'll hear a couple of clicks while I'm checking it out. Alienware Aurora R8 desktop, which is with an i7 97 116 gigs. Oh, oh, that hurts. That hurts. That hurts. That hurts, C Slim. Hopefully it was still live because as soon as I opened up that web browser, I experienced some frame drops. So I normally I would have opened that up from my phone, but my phone's in the next room. But let me see if I can, because I never done any of this kind of stuff on the fly. But C Slim, is that a good deal? That is an amazing deal. Hold on, let me see if I can grab it real quick and show it to you guys. So give me a second, because this is the first time I'm going to try to show images on the fly. Add source, because it's gonna, if it works like it's supposed to, it's gonna overlap what you guys are seeing right now. But I gotta try to show this to you guys, because when you first showed it to me, I'm like, okay, it's the same shit that I got, you know. Here we go. So let me see if I can shrink this. Okay. I'm trying to get more bots to block me on Twitter. Okay, look at that. That's an Alienware Aurora R8, which is what I have. It has an i7 9700, whereas my PC has a i5 94 or 9700. 16 gigs of RAM, that's the same, 256 gig SSD, 1 terabyte hard drive. Now that's where the drawback is right there. It has a 2060. Whereas my PC has a 2070. $1,100. So in terms of performance, that's definitely a better deal than my PC. So yeah, the only thing that is, is got me beat on the processor. It has i7 versus the i5 that my PC has, but I have a 2070 in mine, whereas that has a 2060. Still an amazing deal though. Wow. But I will say that now that I stop and think about it, I did see this on display at Best Buy the last time I was in there, but I never paid attention to what it cost. What I did pay attention to, those were the two things that stood out, was the i7 and the 2060. And I was like, okay, if I were to get this computer, it'd be a little bit of a trade-off. I'd be gaining performance, but I might be losing a little bit of graphics. But nonetheless, it's still a great deal. So hopefully you guys were able to see that, because that's the first time I tried to show something on the fly. So, but yeah, that is an amazing deal. So Um, yeah, so if they skip frames, 17% drop over the last 2 minutes. Okay. Um, so if my computer were to take a dump and they were to give me a full refund, I would take a hard look at buying that. Now that Aurora R9 that I talked about has a 2070 and an i7 9700, but that PC is I believe that PC is $1,900 because that was going to be my next move. If they couldn't repair my PC and they would have refunded the difference, I was simply going to take that money and add $300 to it, and get that R9, that Aurora R9. I love how it has a futuristic look to it, and it has a slightly better specs than what I have. So that's what I was looking to do. But but I also would have taken a hard look at that deal you just showed me right there. I would have taken a hard look at that. It's like, okay, do I want to put $500 in my pocket? That, hey. So you said that Alienware UFO, when does it come out? I don't know, because Alienware's got a lot of PCs. One of them, one of the PCs is like $2,500, and it looks like something right out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So, excuse me. So it looks like I'm running out of things to talk about as far as this subject goes. Again, I do plan on doing live from Wakanda today. I think there's been enough news this week, both VR and flat screen, that I think I can go ahead and do that podcast where I talk about the Twitter post that I've been making over the past week. Because when I make a Twitter post, I more or less use it as notes, where and then I come back and I'll read a little bit from the article and then give my take on it, give my spin, my opinion on it, what kind of implications that I think it would have on the industry. So there wasn't really enough news to talk about last week to even have this show, but I think we got enough now. Ice Queen Gaming, you said I have just booked to see my favorite boy band at Wembley Stadium football ground this year. So you're into the boy bands, huh? Into the Backstreet Boys type groups. Everybody, rock your body. Oh boy, oh boy. Back with the Backstreet. Follow your boy on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that after. Let me go grab my phone, because if I do anything from this computer, it's gonna make the frames drop. So give me a second to grab my phone so I can go ahead and follow you real quick, C Slim. Give me a second, folks. Just want to follow C Slim real quick, because posts come a mile a minute on Twitter. I want to grab him while his post is still at the top of my timeline. C Slim, there you go, my guy. Followed. And just like me, it appears you like to work out, my guy, which is great. Unfortunately, I'm not as big as I was. Like my Twitter profile, I'm not as big as I was in that picture. I mean, I was 225 pounds in that picture. Now I'm down to about 200. Some of it was by choice, by me choosing not to be that big anymore. but also part of it was from the diabetes. You know, once I got forced to change my diet and have to start eating stuff with less carbs and no sugar and that kind of stuff, that like dropped me all the way down to 200 pounds. You know, sometimes, if I don't take in enough calories to maintain my weight, sometimes my weight dips as low as 195. I still have the athletic build, but I'm not as big as I was in my Twitter profile pic. But um, I mean, don't exactly be fooled by that picture, because I did have a little bit of a gut in that picture. I was strong as hell in that picture, because around the time that picture was taken, I was benching 300 pounds. Didn't have a neck, had, traps popping out of my shirt and shit like that. And that was pretty big, but it was also hard on my knees, carrying all that weight around, because I got bird legs, so it was hard going up and down steps and that kind of shit. So, but being that big did have its advantages, though. I did love some of the perks that came with being that big, though. I still work out, but because of how many hours that I work, I'm working like 10 hours a day and working 6 days a week, that kind of shit. I work out from home, and I don't have weights. I don't have enough weights here to make me get bigger. I just have enough weights here to maintain. So sooner or later, I'll get my ass back in the gym where I can start lifting heavy, and maybe try to get a little bit bigger. Maybe try to put on 5 pounds. And come back to where I was before I had diabetes. Because I think before I discovered I had diabetes, I was weighing around 215 pounds, which me being 5'9", 5'9", 215 pounds, I was still a pretty thick dude. I'm not skinny now. I'm just not as big as I was 3 years ago. So it is what it is. It took me a while to have to accept that, because once I dropped to 200 pounds, which is still a decent size, I felt like I was 150 pounds, because I was looking at pictures of what I looked like 3 years ago versus what I look like now. So, see here, my brother mentioned me. Oh, okay. Jason, what did I miss? Been on the phone to Amazon to that 7-day price drop refund, but apparently they don't do it anymore. Shit. I haven't been talking about anything specific, Jason. I just been bouncing around from subject to subject, because at this point I've already said what I needed to say about my situation with my PC. So at this point I'm just responding to stuff in the chat. And that's the biggest reason why my podcast lasts this long, because after I say what I got, after I talk about the subject and that's out of the way, at that point I usually just interact with the chat, and that's usually what keeps the podcast going this long. So me talking about my computer only took about 20 minutes to say what I had to say, but then responding to the chat, that's why we're still here right now, is because of me talking to the chat. You said, I believe Microsoft is going to dominate the AR market. Imagine walking around and playing games. I do think, I've said that before, and people was laughing at me when I first said it. I do think AR glasses are going to replace the smartphone as we know it. You're going to have the AR glasses with all the functionality of smartphones, and it's going to go a step further. I believe, I said this before, that you call someone, and you make a call from your AR glasses, whether it's a phone call or a Skype call or whatever it is. If the person you calling has AR glasses, then you two can like see holographic images of each other. So like if I'm calling somebody that's wearing AR glasses, maybe I'll see a holographic image of them standing right there in front of me. So it's like they're standing right there in front of me having a conversation. I think that's where we're headed. And I think shit like that is going to replace the smartphone as we know it. And God knows, God only knows, like, once these AR glasses with smartphone capabilities hit the mainstream and social media gets a hold of it, all these Instagram wannabes and all that kind of shit, wait till they get a hold of AR glasses and they make holographic images of they twerking videos and shit like that. This is going to be crazy. See, Slim, am I still on the station? Yeah. Now I'm a little cautious about who I accept friend requests from on the PlayStation because there was a couple of times where people were sending messages, and if you open up the messages, it was like there was one time where it was causing you PlayStations to freeze and lock up, and you'd have to do like a complete restore. There was also a couple of times where it had been said that if you answer an email from a strange person and that kind of shit, that once you open that email, they have access to your credit card information and stuff like that. So I don't accept friend requests from just any person who sends me a friend request on the PlayStation. That's why I always tell people when you send me if you send me a friend request on the PlayStation, always let me know it's you, so I can accept the friend request. Because in the case of the PlayStation, people's username on the PlayStation and their username on YouTube is usually two different things, which was the case with me. My YouTube name is Lincoln Clay, but my username on the PlayStation used to be MoneyMay67 because that was like me honoring my cousin Floyd Mayweather. So my name was Money May for a while, but then once I started taking YouTube a little bit more serious, then I wanted to change my name. So as soon as Sony allowed the name changing thing, then I changed my name to Lincoln Clay on the PlayStation. So you send me a friend request. Oh, you said, oh, we already friends on the PlayStation. Just asking. All right, like just send me a message, C Slim, just to refresh, because like I got a lot of friends on PlayStation. And I don't remember, half of them. I don't remember their names. And since the name change thing took effect, there are new names up there that I don't recognize because people changed their name. But at the same time, there's probably people that don't recognize that I changed my name to Lincoln Clay and still still thinking that I'm Money May. You said GT hasn't accepted your friend request. I don't think that's deliberate, because you have to keep in mind that I do believe that GT was one of the people that he referred, that he gave you a reference in terms of me making you a mod. So him not accepting your friend request, I don't think is a deliberate act, unless you did something to him that I don't know about. But like, I'm friends with GT on Facebook. We know each other's real names. Yeah, I'm Lincoln Clay on PlayStation, but what you're probably going to see is Lincoln Clay 670, because there are Lincoln Clays out there on PlayStation. So so I'm Lincoln Clay on PlayStation. So you're gonna have to do it one of two ways. So look, I'll type it in the chat. So it's gonna be one of these two names. That could be one way right there with the underscore. The other way, could be like that without the underscore. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will say that I don't think GT plays a terrible amount of games on the PlayStation VR, because he does do a lot of streaming from the Quest, and he does do a lot of streaming from the Oculus Rift S. In fact, I dare say that GT might be doing most of his streaming from the Quest. So, in fact, here is my right there. That is my Oculus username as well as my Steam username. So feel free to send me a friend request on Oculus or Steam. But the only thing I ask is that if your Oculus name is different from your YouTube name, just let me know that it's you so I can accept it. So yeah, with that being said, Cold Yogurt, I don't think GT not accepting your friend request is anything directed towards you. I seriously think that he just hasn't been playing his PlayStation VR all that much. You know, you also have to keep in mind too that he gets sent a lot of developer keys. So so that's probably another reason why he's on the Quest and on the Rift. That's when he does his streams. And the other thing I think to consider right now is the Oculus Quest is on fire. You know, um, God, on these Quest communities that I'm a part of in Facebook, every day you see stories of people who just got a Quest, and these Quest communities that I'm part of, if you want, you know, that's the one part of social media that's like positive. If you want to be a part of social media where it's positive, join one of those communities. There's so many great stories on the Oculus Quest community. People talking about they just got their Quest, you know, and the one thing I really love seeing is the pictures. It's like finally it's here, just got my Quest, you know, and you see a simple little picture of them getting their Quest, but to me it's still a feel good story because I can put myself in their shoes and know how they felt when they finally got that Quest in their hands. So, but you know, I'm going off the tracks, but I believe that's probably the biggest reason why he hasn't accepted your friend request is probably because he's not on PlayStation VR that much to begin with. Because keep in mind, that's how I met Gamertag was on PlayStation VR. I felt like he was a very fan friendly YouTuber, and like I had discovered his channel. I seen a couple of his streams, and as far as VR goes, he had done something that I had never seen before. And he was like, you know, if anybody wants to, you know, he was playing Firewall, and he said, if anyone wants to join me, he said, just send me a friend request and I'll accept it. And if I have enough room to bring you in, then I'll bring you in. And that's exactly what he did. I sent him a friend request. He accepted it. I was in there playing Firewall with him. And then while we were conversating, I was telling him that I had my own VR channel, and I told him what my YouTube channel was, and he followed me, and then from there we became good friends. And then if you go back into my archives, I have another show called The Lincoln Show where Gamertag was a guest on there twice. You know, it's like the first time he was on there, I was like, I absolutely got to have him on the show. And then the second time I had him on the show was shortly after he got his Oculus Quest, because I hadn't got one yet, and I was still cautious about the Oculus Quest. I was apprehensive about it because of the downgrade in graphics and because of the tracking. You know, so I had him as a guest for a second time on the Lincoln Show to give us his experience on the Oculus Quest. So, and I think as more and more games started coming out for the Quest, he spends more and more time on his Quest. And Jason, yeah, I've noticed a lot of Quest YouTube channels. Yeah, they're all over the place. And this Oculus Quest that I'm part of several Oculus Quest groups on Facebook, and one of them I believe has 19,000 members, and I think another one might have like 34,000 members. And you would think that a group that has 19,000 members and not really being regulated by an administrator, you would think you would see your fair share of negative shit on there, but you don't. That shit is like 99% positive. And I absolutely love those communities. I love seeing those feel good stories. I mean, shit, when I get out of work, you know, I like where I work, but work is still work. When I get out of work, I don't really want to think about it until the next morning. I'm out of work. I want to relax. I want to unwind. I want some entertainment. And virtual reality, you know, getting a good workout in and seeing a lot of these positive posts on these Oculus Quest groups on Facebook provide the positive energy that I like to get. But yeah, you're right, Jason. A lot of these, I'm seeing some of the likes that I got on Twitter for this stream about my PC is home and resting comfortably. And I did go up to my PC a couple of times as it was laying in bed. And I stuck a thermometer in a PC's mouth to check his temperature. And I asked the PC, I said, "Are you all right? You need anything? You want some thermal paste or something? You want something to eat?" Oh boy. Let's say here, I said I didn't even know if VR would work for me until I tried it. I'm legally blind in left eye, believe it or not. Now I did hear, like, that never dawned on me. I thought that I think I had saw an article where people were saying that it's no longer 3D if you look at it through one eye. So I put on my headset and I closed one eye and it still looked 3D to me. It didn't turn into flat screen. It still looked it felt like I was in that room, in the Oculus Home. So hey, if you're still enjoying it, Shats, that's wonderful. You're still laughing about the title of this stream. Now that my PC's at home, I'm gonna give it some TLC, some tender loving care. If my PC calls me like, Lincoln, Lincoln, yeah, yes, alien, what can I do for you? He said, I'm always in VR. Yeah, I love it, man. And I think for the people who live on Call of Duty, like Call of Duty, the people that play those games, that played those games for years and years and years and years, you're not gonna get through to them. Even though, in my opinion, if you love first-person shooters, VR is the next level because I've said this so many times when it comes to first-person shooter games. The next iteration of the game, people want more interaction and more immersion. They want it to be more realistic. How much more realistic than it gets than VR without actually being on a battlefield? So I feel like if you're a person that loves first-person shooters and you always want to go to the next level when the next game comes out, you absolutely should want to play VR. But these people that's on Call of Duty, you can't get through to them. C Slim Productions, what kind of monitors you running with your PC? Like this PC right here, this is all some cheap bullshit, because this PC is a Lenovo. I only paid $450 for it. I bought this PC about about 6-7 years ago, and I bought it for the purpose of backing up my material, so to speak, if you catch my drift. Same thing with the monitor. The monitor is I believe it might be an Acer, but it's got the letters AOC at the bottom, and it's a 1080p. It is a 1080p 30 hertz monitor, I believe, and only paid like $110 for it. So this particular setup right here, I'm nothing. But my gaming PC is not attached to a monitor. It is attached to my 65-inch Hisense H9 TV, which supports HDR10, 60 hertz refresh rate, and I paid $1,000 for that PC. And it has I felt like it has a picture that's comparable to the Samsung Q6, which at the time that I bought that PC was double what I paid for that Hisense H9, and like the screen is about that thin, because a lot of these HD TVs, when you look at it from the side, some of these TVs are like let me put my hand there. Like when you look at it from the side, the shit is like that fucking thick. But my H9, my Hisense H9, is about that thick. It's barely the thickness of a credit card. Which like those LG OLED TVs, they're about as thick as a credit card. My TV is slightly thicker than a credit card, but it's still a pretty damn thin TV. And I bought my son the same TV. So basically that's my monitor. And my son absolutely loves it because he has his own PC. And the TV that I have, I bought him the 55-inch version of the TV that I have. So he does have the 60 hertz, the HDR10, a very thin screen, just like I got. He absolutely loves that TV. And when he comes over here to play games on the PC, like Gears of War and that kind of stuff, the FOV, they give you an option on the FOV, the widen the FOV, and he absolutely loves that. So, and then he loves the higher frame rates. Because as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to playing flat screen games, 60 frames is all you need, as far as I'm concerned. Because from what I understand, you could be running 180 frames per second, and the human eye still wouldn't be able to see the difference. So, with my TV being able to run shit at 60 hertz, I'm getting 4K 60, out of a lot of the flat screen games that I play. I'm getting 4K 60 out of them. And any game that I have on my PC that's capable of going over 60 frames, the TV won't let it go over, it won't go over 60 frames because of the TV. I've hit 61, 62 frames a couple of times on my PC, but for the most part, 60 frames, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. You said I have a PSVR and a part-time Quest user, my son's Quest. And you got a QLED 55-inch this year. Nice. Jason Lincoln, my mate loves games like COD, and I got him into sim racing, which he now is addicted to, and has to be a big-time proper rig direct drive wheel. Oh, shit. And on top of that, the line pedals. I told about the VR, so he... wow, Jason. So it sounds like you... so you turned your friend out on sim racing and got the Rift S, but he does not like the way it looks too blurry. I don't think so. Now, granted, I will admit, even with the clarity of the Oculus Rift S, a game like GT Sport still looks crystal clear, looks phenomenal, flat screen. But I think that racing games on the Rift S, I think still look better than racing games on the PlayStation VR, because there's clearly some blur on the PlayStation VR around the outside, but I still think they look a little bit better on the Rift S. I think it's clear enough that I can see when the turns come. So I absolutely love it. George Simmons, I got your, if you're still here in the chat, I got your friend request on the Oculus app. And I am accepting it right about now. Oh, you said so he got the Rift S. Okay. And Jason, you said your mate got the Rift S. You said I never tried it Rift S, but I think he was expecting it to look better, like a TV monitor or something. We're gonna get there, because the way these PC VR headsets are coming out, we're gonna get there. I think eventually, a racing game on a PC on PC VR is going to look almost as good as flat screen. I think no matter what you're playing, flat screen is always going to look better than VR. But hey, these VR headsets are popping up with 4K, and you even getting VR headsets that's getting ready to pop up with a 2880 resolution. So it's getting better and better. So these games are going to keep getting sharper and sharper. And we are going to reach a point where these sim games on a VR are going to be in the same ball field as the picture that we're getting on a flat screen game. So it's coming, you know. So what he's seeing right now shouldn't be his final impression of VR, because it just like the technological advancements of VR is moving at a mile a minute. I think VR right now versus what we're going to see next year at the same time, I think is going to be like the leap is going to be like galactic. It's going to be like a galactic leap of how far it's going to advance between now and next year. So, Cold Yogurt, I'm starting to like Pimax. I have to wait and see. They also use the base stations as Knuckles. Pimax is definitely a headset I'm curious about. The 5K, 8K, the resolutions that I'm hearing about, and the wide field of view. I think I heard it's got like a 140-degree field of view. I'm definitely wanting to get one of those, but I keep hearing that these things break. I keep hearing stories about these Pimax headsets breaking. Not starting to hear stories. I've been hearing stories about these Pimax headsets breaking. And they're pretty expensive too. So I don't want to drop $2,000 on a headset that's going to break within 6 months. That's not going to fly with me. The only way, at this point right now, for how much a Pimax headset costs, the only way I would buy one is if Best Buy sold them. Then that way I could put a warranty on the headset. So if it takes a dump, then hey, then I just take it back and get another one. Yes, now I'm thinking of buying that. And then Cold Yogurt, you said for racing, I believe is worth it if money's not an issue to accept God Rays. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I think with the technological, I think these God Rays are going to be a thing of the past. I think right now I think VR, even though it's slowly working its way to mainstream, I still think that we're still facing a situation where these manufacturers are having to try to use parts and materials to try to keep the price down. And I feel like that's probably where the trade-off is coming with these God Rays and screen door effects and shit like that. I think by this time next year, I think, in the next year or two, I think God Rays and screen door effects and shit like that, it's all going to be a thing of a past. That's, we're not going to be dealing with that. We're going to be dealing with razor sharp images. So I'm here to stay with VR. So yes, I want to get some other headsets, but when somebody makes a headset that has like 4K resolution, 21 by 60, and the inside out tracking works just as good as the Rift S, and it has the same price tag as the Rift S, that's when I'll jump on it. Right now, the way the market is, I have to think about the trade-offs. It's like, okay, this one is kind of pricey. This one has suspect tracking. This one, the controllers break. That's that kind of shit right now. And that's why I feel like the Rift S is the best bang for the buck. I've not been hearing stories about the Rift S breaking. I have not, I barely hear any of those kind of stories. I barely hear stories of the Rift S breaking. I'm not, the only thing about the Rift S was when it first launched, the tracking was not good, but Oculus did something miraculous, and the inside-out tracking on the Rift S is phenomenal, and the Quest for that matter. Jason L, Jason, you asked a tough question: Rift S or the Quest? What would you like to do with VR? Because that question all depends on what you want to do with VR. And that, I mean, do you want VR? Do you want it on the go? Do you want to take a headset with you everywhere you go and just be able to play VR at any given moment, at any given location? then the Quest is your best bet. Because not only that, if you already have a gaming PC, you can use the Quest Link cable to connect it to your PC and get PC-like visuals and performance out of the Quest. So if you want the convenience of taking the headset with you, I would clearly go with the Quest. But if you want strictly PC VR, gaming on a PC, and you want sharper visuals, I would go with the Rift S. But as I think as Cold Yogurt has alluded to in the comments section, if money's not an issue, I would get both of them. And I feel like as far as VR goes, I've got all the bases covered. I'm in a great situation. Let me see here, Shats. I don't know. I don't know if you're getting ready to take off or not. I got to backtrack on some of these comments. Oh, there you go. Got to run. Take care, everyone. Great show, Lincoln. Thanks, Shats. I really appreciate it. And I expect to see you tomorrow on the VR link if I don't see you later on when I do live from Wakanda. Cole Yogurt says, aren't you building a monster PC? If so, get the Valve. No argument there if money's not an issue. But I think for the cost of that, with that Valve, you're not, as far as resolution goes, I don't think you're getting much better than the resolution. I don't think there's much of a difference between 1440 and 1600 as far as the resolution goes. But now I have heard that the color on the Valve is just incredible. And they did say that the headphones on the Valve is incredible as well. So if money's not an issue to you, then yeah, go ahead and get the Valve. But I mean, but you were asking about the Rift S and the Quest. If money's not an issue, I would get both of them. I would get the Rift S and the Quest. Also, if you take a look at these YouTubers, these big VR YouTubers that's got like 150,000, 350,000, 500,000 subs, all these YouTubers might have a lot of phenomenal things to say about the Valve Index, but every one of them usually has a Rift S also, because Oculus, right now, Oculus has the best exclusives right now. I think it's been somewhat of a slow year for PlayStation VR. You know, the only exclusives that they gave us that stood out to me was Blood and Truth and Everybody's Golf. But other than that, I think it's been somewhat of a slow year for PlayStation VR in terms of games that they're releasing. So, and Oculus is on fire right now. I think Oculus has had some great exclusives this year with even though I haven't finished any of these games, I'm still going to break down. Like, I think Defector, I was having fun playing that game, Defector. Asgard's Wrath, which I think is phenomenal. Stormland. Trying to think if there's any more. You said you're also thinking of getting a Quest and a Rift S. I think that's the best way to go. I think that look, for $1,000, you're gonna get the Valve Index. For $800, you can get the Quest and the Rift S and still have $200 to put in your pocket to go towards games. So when you look at it that way, I think the Rift S and the Quest, getting both of those together is the way to go. Because with the Rift S, you're running these games natively, and I think you're getting a better performance. Now, I hear a lot of phenomenal things about the link cable, but I also hear about everybody's breaking down all this trickery that Oculus had to do in order to give you PC-like performance and PC quality and PC performance. So, I mean, I have both of them. So, because of that, I recommend getting both the Rift S and the Quest. I think that's just the way to go. because you have the convenience of the Quest, of being able to take the Quest with you anywhere. And not only that, here's another advantage to owning both the Quest and the Rift S. A lot of the games are cross-buy at the Oculus store. You only need to buy it once and you'll get it for both headsets. I bought Dead and Buried once. I got it both for Rift and Quest. Dead and Buried 2. Pistol Whip, same thing. It was cross-buy. I bought it once, got it for both the Quest and the Rift S. I think Star Trek Bridge Crew, cross-buy. Racket Fury Table Tennis that I just picked up, cross-buy. Bought it once, got it on Rift S and Quest. So I think that's another thing to consider too. So thank God Oculus put in the cross-buy, because that makes a huge difference in where I'm going to buy a game from. Why would I buy Pistol Whip from Steam when I can buy it from the Oculus store and get it for 2 headsets for the same one price? So I think that's another advantage to owning both the Rift S and the Quest. I think you won't have to buy games twice in a lot of cases. You only need to buy it once. Whereas if you try to have a Valve and a Quest, you're gonna have to buy the games twice. You're gonna have to buy it once on Steam, and then you're gonna have to buy it again for the Quest. So I like that combination. I think it's an affordable combination. Like I said, $800 for the both of them, and you save money when buying games. All right. So hopefully that'll shed some light on you. If you had to pick one or the other between the Quest and the Rift S, being that you're getting ready to buy a build, you said you're getting ready to buy a monster PC, then I think I would probably go with the Rift S. But if you can do both, if you can get them both, the Rift S and the Quest, I would get them. You're right about that, Cold Yogurt. The Valve audio is superior to Rift, but what? You see these earbuds that I got right here? I paid $10 for these earbuds that I'm wearing right now, and when I plug these earbuds into the Quest, it is incredible. The sound is incredible. The bass is there. It sounds phenomenal. So when people were crying about the Rift S and the Quest not coming with any earbuds, so what? It's like, shit, just go spend $10-20 to get you a good pair of earbuds or something like that. Just put them on and go. So you said Link and the Cold Yogurt. The only thing that scares me about the Index is the games, as Oculus seems to have better games, and I've heard that Restream is a bit dodgy. Yeah. Restream or Revive, whatever it is. I have not experienced it, but yes, I have heard stories about Oculus exclusives not performing as well as they would natively if you had the Rift S headset. Now that Oculus has been bought by Facebook, when they decide to do a AAA high budget VR game, they're gonna do it right. So. So yeah, I'd rather, and then that's the other thing right now. The other thing about the Valve Index, in my opinion, I don't think the games. I mean, we're finally going to get, Valve people are finally going to get what they're looking for with Half-Life Alyx. But before that, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a headset and try to play Asgard's Wrath and the thing runs janky. I'd rather have the Rift S where it runs natively and runs better. So Yeah, would I like to have a Valve Index? Yes, but do I want to part with $1,000? No. You know, if I got $1,000 in my hand, you might have. If you want that $1,000 from me, you might have to cut this hand off to get it. So, in that aspect, no, I don't want to drop the $1,000 for the Valve Index. If the Valve Index, the whole kit and caboodle would have been like the headset, the Valve, the controllers, and the Lighthouse bases. If the whole kit and caboodle would have cost $600 or $700, I would have bought one. $1,000 is quite pricey, and then they don't. And then these knuckle controllers, it falls on the developers to add support for these knuckle controllers, and they don't really have. Valve doesn't really have any exclusives, you know. So I mean, Half-Life Alyx is going to give a lot of Valve Index owners what they've been looking for, but you know, Oculus is killing it on the exclusives right now, and I wouldn't want to have to compromise that experience by downloading some software that that still compromises the performance. He said, "So violent, yeah. You want that $1,000? You're gonna have to pry it out of my cold dead hands." So, me and my money is tight, and so the Rift S gives me the Rift S is giving me the kind of VR experience that I want without having to drop a ton of money for it. So, with that being said, I still hold on to my belief that the Rift S is the best bang for the buck. So, it's going to be that time for me to get ready to go pick up my son here in a little while. So, if I want some time to myself, I'm going to have to get ready to break away. Lincoln, is it good to start off with 1080p PC monitors? PC, I show you might get it. I really can't answer that one because, like I said, this PC and this PC and this monitor that I'm sitting from right now, I didn't buy it for gaming performances. I didn't buy it for gaming reasons. I bought it as a mean to back up my material because I was backing up material back then, if you know what I mean. So I needed something with a optical drive, with an optics drive that allowed me to back up material, if you know what I mean. So, but as far as my gaming PC goes, I would rather go with my TV than a monitor because when I have people come over, you know, when people stop by my place and I show them VR, the 65-inch TV that I got it hooked up to, no question, they can see what I'm playing. Loud, you know, no question about it. So as far as my gaming PC goes, I'd rather my gaming PC be hooked up to my TV than a monitor. Not only that, this apartment is too small to have, you know, my 65-inch TV and a monitor in the same room. I've got this PC right here, and you know, that tells you how small my apartment is, that you guys can look back there and there's the kitchen right there and there's a microwave there. You know, my apartment is this small. So I like my setup the way it is. Now when I get into another apartment, you know, when I get a bigger place and I create a separate, and that second room is dedicated to strictly VR, no, I'm not gonna put a computer monitor in there. I'm gonna put another TV in there. It just may not be a 65-inch TV, but it's gonna be another TV, another high-end TV. Something that supports HDR10, something with a 60 or 120 hertz refresh rate. So, you know, I'm not interested in buying a PC monitor, especially a good one where you got to spend $300, $400, $500 for a good 1440 monitor. I would want a 4K monitor, something that does 4K 60. But hell, I think for Black Friday, Best Buy was selling 1080p 75 hertz PC monitors, I think for like $120 or something like that, which I think isn't bad, but shit, I would want 4K. So, but I'm definitely like PC, see Slim, I'm just not the person to ask. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a expert at this shit. I'm really not. You know, especially if you want to do flat screen gaming. You know, if you get ready to get into VR and you just want your monitor as a means to show your guests what you planned, then shit, you could get a monitor as cheap as this shit that I'm using right here. But if you plan on using it for gaming, then yeah, you probably better be prepared to spend some money, in my opinion, to either get a 1080p monitor that's got a high refresh rate, or a 1440p monitor that kind of meets in the middle, because a 4K 60 monitor is going, you're gonna spend some money on something like that. That's all I can tell you. You know, a 4K 60 monitor gonna break your damn head open. And then if you get one of the, like, a 4K 60 monitor that's like 40 inches and curved and shit like that, yeah, get ready to drop like $1,000 or some shit like that. So, man, I've been on 2.5 hours. Hey, I can't believe I've been on that long. But I think I'm gonna get ready to boogie on out of here. And I'm going to play some VR. I just don't know. I just don't know whether I'm going to do it on the Quest or whether I'm going to do it on the PlayStation, because I would like to get a little bit of exercise in. So I'm thinking about going back and playing Spark again. I forgot how fun Spark is, because I only played the game a few times. Spark is really a fun game, and it is great for exercise. But at the time the Spark came out, it kind of just went over my head, because I was too busy thinking, like, when are we going to hurry up and get some real first-person shooter games out? Because I think at that time, I think either Firewall was not out yet, or Firewall was out, and I wanted more. I wanted more first-person shooter games, and because of that, I kind of like brushed Spark off to the side. It's a great game if you want some exercise, and it's a strategic game as well. Jason, when I built mine 4K gaming on my 55-inch TV, as it has FreeSync 120 hertz, though I do have a 124 hertz 27-inch 2K monitor, which I will use also. So, hey, like I said, I'm fine with my TV being my monitor, because it's a 65-inch TV, the 60 hertz refresh rate, which is all I need. Because again, if I'm doing 180 frames per second, so what? Nobody's gonna be able to know the difference. So I'm good with 4K 60, and because of the 60 hertz refresh rate, if I attach anything to my TV that can do 4K 60, then my TV can display it at those, at 4K 60. So I'm good with that. And then, it supports HDR 10, and I said it before that the even though it's half the price, it has a picture that's comparable to the Samsung Q6. Out of the Q series TVs, the Q6 is at the bottom of the line, but it was for a 65-inch TV at the time. It was still $2,000 versus the $1,000 that I paid for my TV. So yes, I do have 4K glory on my TV, and it looks tremendous. So I'm good with using my TV as a monitor. It says, do you play games on your PC or just VR? That's just it. Like, my Alienware PC, I bought it mostly for VR. And that's another story in itself, because I have been wanting to get a PC for a while, but what accelerated me getting a PC when I did is because the lack of the stuff that I was looking for on PlayStation VR. There's a lack of first-person shooter games on the PlayStation VR, and there's a lack of sim racers on the PlayStation VR. All you really got is GT Sport, which is like you only racing against the PC, and then you got Drive Club, which is incredibly blurry, and then if the servers haven't been shut off, it's going to happen here pretty soon. First person shooters, all you really got is Firewall. When Zero Caliber hits, that's going to be like only the second true first person shooter games, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be on the PlayStation VR. Yeah, you have Honor and Duty there, which is fun, but you don't quite have the graphics of Firewall or Zero Caliber. So there was a lack of sim racers and a lack of first person shooters on the PlayStation VR. So that made me accelerate my decision to get a gaming PC, because on Steam there is more first person shooter games in VR than I know what to do with. There is more sim racing games in VR than I know what to do with. So to answer your question, Jason, um, it's not about what device I'm playing on. It's about me just wanting to play VR, period. If I feel like playing on the Quest, I'm playing, VR on a standalone headset. If I'm playing PlayStation, I'm playing it. I'm playing VR on the PlayStation VR headset. If I'm playing on the PC, I'm playing PC VR. So in that aspect, I play on all three of them. It's not so much a preference that I prefer this over that. I just covered all the bases, with the Oculus Rift S, the Quest, and the PlayStation VR. I'm covered. So no matter what device that I choose to play on, there's something there for me, no matter what it is. Sim racing, first-person shooters, sci-fi games, horror games, whatever it is, no matter what I want to play, is on one of those headsets. So the circle is complete with me as far as VR goes. Ah. And Jay Barry is live. I'm going to have to check that out. So, yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit scratchy here. Voice is starting to get a little bit scratchy. And, but again, I'm getting ready to do something and play something in VR right now. And I actually can't decide, especially now that I got my PC back. I don't know whether to play something on the Quest, whether to play something on the PC, or something on PlayStation VR. But I will say that whatever, if I do decide to play something on the PlayStation VR, I will stream it. See, Slim, bottom line is, man, I don't really play any flat screen games anymore. I am like 99, 98% flat screen games. In fact, this year, see, Slim, the only flat screen games that are on my radar is The Last of Us 2 and The Ghost of Tsushima. That's it. I don't have any interest in flat screen games other than those games. I'm like 98% VR. So that was the reason, that was the biggest reason why I bought my gaming PC, was for VR, because the world is so much bigger on PC. I've said it before that PlayStation VR is like a planet. When you throw PC VR into the mix, it becomes an entire solar system. The world opens up that much more. So in that aspect, yes, I play a ton of third-party VR games, but like the Battlefields and the Call of Duties, those type of third-party games, no, I don't play those anymore. Because to me, there's no better way to experience a first-person shooter game or a racing game than in VR. Those are the best way to experience those games. So I would much rather play Firewall than Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is an amazing game, but to actually be in the game, actually having to duck behind barriers and shit like that in VR, shit, to me, the experience doesn't get any better than that. Unless you crazy enough to want to go to Iran or something like that and actually fight shit. So, in that aspect, VR wise, yeah, VR wise, the majority of the games that I have, see Slim, are third party games. But flat screen games, nah, I'm pretty much done, bro. And I never thought that would happen to me. Because as I said before, man, VR, even though I thought it was amazing right from the start, it didn't convert me like that. It was an acquired taste. I had to get past the motion sickness, and I had to get past the fact that a lot of the VR games have graphics that look like last gen graphics, whereas like these games on the PlayStation Pro and the Xbox One X, with the current graphics, look phenomenal, and you really don't have a lot of VR games that's within the same ballpark from a graphical standpoint. So I had to get used to that too. Go Yogurt, you said same here. Flat screen is beneath me now. And now you're doing that. Now you're doing that PC Master Race talk. Jason, I gotta go. See you all on the next stream. Link and see you on the VR link tomorrow, and have a great day, guys. That's all, folks. Thanks a lot, Jason, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. But I do still plan on doing live from Wakanda today, where I'm going to go over all the past week's news. You know, the new headsets that was revealed and all that kind of shit. I'm just going to read bits and pieces from articles of my Twitter post this past week, and then enough to give you the information, and then give you my take on it and throw my opinion on it. So try to check out live from Wakanda today. All I can really say is that I'll do that sometime this afternoon. I can't give a direct time when I'm going to do it, but it'll be this afternoon. But if you don't catch it, then catch us on the VR link tomorrow. But catch the VR link anyway. You said you won't get The Last of Us 2 until it's VR. I don't think that's going to happen, Cold Yogurt. As much as I'd like to see it happen, I don't think it's going to happen. As good as that game looks, I don't know if the PS5 would be able to have enough power to run it and make it look that good. I think when the PS5 comes out, the current Last of Us that's out right now, I think it would have enough power to run that one. But that's on Sony if they want to do that. Damn, I'm getting hungry again, too. Yeah, I just heard my stomach rumbling. So, I'm going to get ready to boogie on out of here, though. Man, as much as I'd like to stay, because I really do enjoy kicking it with you guys. Damn, so we going on 3 hours. I mean, this is starting to become a little bit of a regular occurrence of me interacting with the chat and having podcasts that go over 2 hours. But I love it, though. I love interacting with you guys. And that's one of the things that I love about my channel being the size that it is, that I have enough subs that whenever I go live, there's always enough people in the chat to keep the podcast going. And like I said, I enjoy interacting with you guys, and you guys are what make these podcasts go as long as they do, being able to interact with you guys. So I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in and adding interesting insight, stuff that I can comment on, because actually when I talk about a particular subject, I do a lot of hesitating, that kind of shit, because I'm trying to think of stuff off the top of my head. But when you guys say something in the chat and you ask me my opinion for something, or you deliver some information and I respond to it, it's off the top of my head and everything comes out smoothly. Not a lot of stutter. And that's what makes conversating with you guys great. Because I can give an answer off the top of my head, I can give an honest opinion, an opinion from the heart, and I can deliver it fluently. So I definitely appreciate chatting with you guys. You guys make this channel what it is just as much as I do. So I really appreciate it. I think I have a modest subscriber count, but I think you guys are definitely the best viewers out there on YouTube. You guys make this channel. You guys make this channel worth having these podcasts that go over 2 hours. Because when I have a podcast that go this long, it's not a bunch of mumbo jumbo. We're having an interesting conversation about some interesting topics. So, and I definitely appreciate it. Thank you, Cold Yogurt. You said good show. I really appreciate it as always. So, again, for the 19th time, I'm going to go ahead and boogie on out of here. I'm going to grab a bite to eat, and then I'm going to play some VR. But if I should happen to play something on PlayStation VR, I will stream it. So right now, I'm feeling like I need to get some exercise in this morning, so I'm leaning towards wanting to play Spark. So tentatively, we'll say that I'm going to play Spark here in about a half an hour. So feel free to tune in, and we'll see you guys in a little while. I'm out of here, y'all. Like, comment,